guys, and welcome back into my kitchen. This evening we're having a repeat of what I have done for you before on video. We are going to have a lamb and mint burgers turned into meatballs. Oh, Vaughn's shouting through there, it's actually pork and apple burgers. I beg your pardon. Although there is a bit of green here, so I do believe there is a little bit of mint through it as well. But we'll argue that later. What I have done already, guys, I have split the burgers into two, and I'm just rolling the last two halves into the meatball shapes. Now, you may hear in the background, I have got an onion with some garlic, just powdered garlic, already frying in some oil, and this onion was actually one of Vaughn's homegrown ones. So I'll take it off the stove just now and let you see it. So that's it now, browning just nicely with the garlic in there. So I'll pop that back over, and as a slight twist this time, I am going to use homegrown tomatoes. We didn't do, or Vaughan didn't do so well with the tomatoes this year, and he didn't do anything different to previous years, so we think it's possibly due to the fact that we had that hot weather quite early on at the start of lockdown, and whether that has made an impact on the crop this year. But a lot of our neighbours are also seeing the same thing, so we do think maybe there's a pattern there. But this is the few that I was given, so I'm going to use them because they're needing used up. And all I'm going to do is cut the tomatoes up quite roughly, and I'm then going to add it into the pan with the onions. And the slight difference I have this time is, you'll probably see I've got some Lane Perrin Worcestershire sauce, and I've also got tomato puree, and I'm going to maybe add some of that in this time. So I'm just going to add the tomatoes in. I'll just turn you around, guys, so that you can see what I'm up to. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just stir that round. The onions have already been softening in the pan of olive oil, but you don't need to worry too much because obviously they're going to continue cooking in the oven, and also the meatballs they're not cooked either, so they're going to be going in at a slow heat in another half an hour, and it'll be in the oven for a good hour until we're ready to eat at 7 o'clock. So it'll give it plenty time to cook. So as a slight twist, I've still got more tomatoes to cut, but as a slight twist, I'm going to add a little, quite a big squirt of tomato paste and a good dash of Lane Perrin. In fact, I could probably take the rest of the tomatoes over here and just finish them over here. Now, you could obviously use 10 tomatoes if you wanted at this stage, or obviously buy tomatoes from the shops. I'm just using these ones because I've got them in the fridge to use up. But as I say, 10 tomatoes would do the job just as well, so you don't have to worry about going out and buying fresh. And sometimes tomatoes can be quite expensive depending on the time of year. So 10 tomatoes, you don't need to buy a fancy brand name, just the supermarket's own brand of tomato. 10 tomatoes would be absolutely perfect. So that really is it. It's just a question of letting that fry off. Now, you could add a little wine if you wanted. You could even add a little water to that and put a few gravy granules in if you wanted to make it into more of a sauce. I might put a little smidging of wine in a minute just to make it a little bit more liquid. But that's coming along just nicely. So I think I'll do that. We'll not tell Vaughn, although he's probably within earshot, that we're going to use a little bit of his homemade wine, which has been absolutely delicious. Works out at about less than just over £1 a bottle, less than £2 a bottle for sure. And it's been absolutely wonderful. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. So, there we have a lovely concoction here of tomatoes and onions in garlic. Now, what I haven't done, I'll just move you back round, guys, so that you can see what I'm up to. I haven't put any salt and pepper, so I'm just going to put a good shake of salt. You don't need too much because you've obviously got the garlic in there, which is quite salty, but a little shake of pepper, and that's it. And all I'm going to do now is just pour that over the meatballs. And remember, there may be some fat that might come out of the meatballs, the burgers, depending on how they've been made up. So that will also add to the liquid, and that will just mix in perfectly. So that's then completely covered. And what I will do is I will cover that with foil, put it in the oven. Again, probably a good old-fashioned slow oven for me, so it'll be about 160, 170 degrees, and I'll slow cook them for an hour, and they'll be absolutely perfect. So there we are, my meatballs. Quite looking forward to that, and I'll probably serve that. Usually I do with spaghetti. I'll check with Vaughn, but that's probably what I'll have with it. And if there's any left, then I'll be able to give my mum some tomorrow for lunch, because she's coming over for lunch. So there we go. I'm sure you've tried it already, guys, but if not, then give it a go. You can use any burgers as long as they're raw. Cut them in half if they're quite big, roll them up, and do your simple sauce of onions and tomatoes. Add your tomato paste if you have it, some Lane Perrin, salt and pepper, and there we go. And if you don't have wine, you could always add just a little water if you want to make it a little bit runnier. And that's it. So easy, so simple. Guys, have a great weekend. No challenge tonight. Have a night off. Enjoy your weekend. See you Monday. Take care. Bye.